News moves fast in the world of football, and it can be incredibly hard to keep up, especially when it comes to transfer stuff. After all, anything can happen at any time with any club. So I thought it would be kind of easy if we decided to have a little bit of a season start summary where we just sort of discussed all of the deals that are happening, not happening, rumoured, basically pull all the news together and get it into one little confined space so everyone understands what is going on right now. This is every Leeds United update in one video. And I'm going to start with the incomings, and then I'll go on to the departures later on, and we'll cover absolutely everything that I can think of right now. The first of the incoming rumours is Dejan Ljubicic. He is a midfielder currently playing at Köln in Germany, and Leeds were told, I think yesterday, that they needed a mega offer to be able to sign him. Now, this was a little bit confusing to me, considering Ljubicic is currently having a single year left on his contract, which means that they're not really in the position to sort of make that argument. Very, very weird one. For me, I feel like this one could easily happen, sort of. Leeds' initial bid was something like £3.4 million. I imagine another 50% on top of that pushes it to about 5. Probably enough to get the job done, and still not exactly breaking the bank for Leeds. Would be a good deal to do, but I'm not 100% sure either way on this one. Next up, we have to talk about Jezran Raksaki, is a Crystal Palace winger who is very young and promising and developing, and Leeds were linked heavily with him, signing him on loan. Looks like he's going to go to Sheffield United, which kind of makes sense considering we're just going to sort of add things up right now. A lot of these moves tie into one larger narrative. Similar applies to Liam Miller, who is going to be leaving Basel, going to Hull. And that's a good move for him, to be fair. He's a reasonably good footballer and would be able to do a pretty good job for Hull, I think, especially if he's actually played on the wing rather than at left wing back. But these two moves have happened very, very quickly after news has emerged about Leeds United potentially approaching a deal with John Rowe. Rowe is a very, very high quality winger, plays for Norwich City and has 2 years left on his contract, sort of. One of the years on his contract is an extension, but it's an extension by the club, so it's almost certainly going to happen. It looks like the clubs were set to be approaching an agreement, but I did write the script for this before I found out some further news about a Q&A featuring Norwich's sporting director. Keep in mind that I'm currently recording this video at 10:24 on Thursday evening. I won't be recording it on Friday because I'm going to spend the day out in York, have a nice trip before doing various bits and bobs around the world of football when our beautiful sport returns. This could be a little bit more tricky than when I initially wrote it, but I still think Rowe probably gets done. It'll just be very difficult. Next up, Anselmo Garcia McNulty was the Spanish-Irish, I think was the combination, left-back that Leeds were reportedly having a little bit of an interest in. Very young, plays for Pexvoll over in the Netherlands, and he's a pretty good footballer, to be fair, but these talks have also gone very quiet. Last we knew, Leeds had made initial contact with the club, and that sort of made a little bit of sense to me because, like, he was a very, very decent footballer, but we can't really guarantee him permanent long-term minutes, at least until Firpo is out of the picture, which will be at least at the end of this season. And if he stays fit, I can see that happening for an extended period of time. Another player at the back that we were rumoured to be linked with was Jordan Torunariga. I would effectively call this one dead in the water. Daniel Farke's comments in his press conference were effectively along the lines of, well, you see, we don't really need any more centre-backs because James DeBayo has been very impressive, and that, in my opinion, probably kills talk of this move. I think it also does the same for Alfie Gilchrist, who is reportedly also going elsewhere now, which makes sense for him. He needs minutes, and he wouldn't want to be that rotational option this coming season. Yeah, I think the Torunariga one is done, according to the Daniel Farke comments. Same for Alfie Gilchrist. And we've got a couple of other moves just to cover in terms of incomings. These were wild pie-in-the-sky stuff to begin with, and it includes Morgan Whittaker. I don't think there's necessarily any need for us to move on Morgan Whittaker, especially with a potential move for Rowe close. And the same applies for Sami Szmodics, even though Szmodics is more of a central player and wouldn't quite fill that Somerville gap anyway. So, finally, we get on to departures. I say finally, we've got some other bits and bobs to cover, but it should be completely fine. The first is, and this is basically talking about people that were rumoured to be leaving at some point recently. There's a lot of conversation flying around Max Fuber, but this was relatively cleared up in Daniel Farke's press conference. Basically, Farke reassured the media that he himself had been told by Max Fuber that he wanted to stay at the club. Now, this could be a tactic to effectively go, right, if you turn on us now, then everyone knows that it is you that have gone back on your word. Or this could just be genuine. He wants to stay here and be here and push for Leeds United. I'm going to stick with that one because I am generally positive about human nature. But I do genuinely feel like Max Fuber is going to be staying into the next season alongside Jorginho Rutter. There was very clear interest from Brighton. I think they offered something along the lines of £30 million, but that has since gone very, very quiet. We've heard absolutely nothing about interest in Rutter for quite some time, and I can't really see that one being a sale. Primarily because in pre-season he has already proven himself to be miles clear of even La Liga opposition, and the fact that he's able to do that whilst playing for a championship squad is colossal for us. Absolutely no complaints about Georgie from me. And similarly, another player that I think will be sticking around next season is Willy Gnonto. Leeds reportedly rejected a £23 million bid from Everton, and it feels a little bit like Leeds are going to be pricing him out of a move, especially if you consider the fact that with the Crescencio Somerville stuff, we don't really want to lose both of them in one window. That would be a wild and very, very silly thing for us to do, and I cannot see the club doing that in the slightest. I think he is there basically to secure that left wing position for the season. The whole cutting inside, having a dig, I think he's going to fit there perfectly, work really well alongside Firpo. I can see this being absolutely excellent. In addition to that, there's a more general bit of conversation to be had in that Daniel Farke noted that bids have come from the Premier League, but they were rejected, which in my opinion is very, very, very promising because it says that we are more than happy to do what we can to hold on to our players rather than just going, yeah, we've had a bid, off you go. Good position to be in my opinion, at the very least. And he also said that no one has come knocking on his door demanding a move, which is also good. That shows that we've got a lot of sort of positive chemistry and good vibes all throughout the squad, and everyone wants to be here and push towards achieving the same goal. That makes me happy, I'll be honest with you. But outside of that, that is all that I can think of at the moment in terms of deals and news and stuff. And from this point onwards, we can be positive. We can be happy. We can push forwards into the match against Portsmouth with good vibes and ideally a squad that we are happy with. I would love another signing. I would love another 2 signings. But at the same time, if the squad is as it is right now going into the first match of the season, I am absolutely confident that we will do enough. Anyway, that's all my opinion. As always, I kind of want to know what yours is as well. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about all the transfer business and news and stuff like that. Let me know if there's any stories you want to hear a little bit more about. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not yet. You could even become a channel member. It's 99p and all that money goes to Prostate Cancer UK. Hope you enjoyed. I shall see you later. Terra. And now I've got to record the video on the John Rowe Sporting Director news. Fun! Oh dear. Doodaloo.